Hello everyone and welcome to my beginner's guide on how to use the new Troop Deployment System, or TDS, on the Contention servers in DCS World. This is very similar to the CTLD system. It has just been designed for the ground up for Contention and works with all of the other systems. The logic is pretty much the same, but let's just run through it for new and old people alike. So first up, what is the TDS system? Well, it's the replacement for the old CTLD system, all in-house built by the Contention devs, and it serves the same general purpose. It lets people pick up troops in the form of crates from friendly airfields and FARPs, and take them out and deploy them into the map. This lets players really shape the battlefield, putting down pretty much everything from SAM sites to AAA to tanks to early warning radars to artillery pieces. Really makes the dynamic campaign dynamic. No two campaigns will be identical, everything is changing, and this isn't just with random stuff, this is people putting down things in sensible locations. Honestly, it's one of my favourite things about Contention and an absolute cornerstone of the server, and so we're just going to be taking a quick look at it here, how you can do this, how you actually go about picking up stuff, deploying stuff to shape things in the map around you. So mostly for the purposes of this guide, I'm not going to be playing particularly sensibly. I could be reinforcing better things along the front line. I'm just going to be reinforcing around FARP Alpha here, just so I don't get shot down too much while recording this. So we can do troop deployment from any of our existing airfields or FARPs. I'm just going to pick FARP Alpha here. We do need to pick a transport aircraft. This can either be the Mi-24, the Huey, or any of the heavy lift transport aircraft such as the Mi-8 and the C-130 along with the Chinook. I'm going to be demonstrating this with the Mi-8 today. Doesn't matter what we bring on us, other than the weight restrictions might make some things a little bit awkward. I'm going to take my normal basic AAA defense. Give me some ability to self-defend, but doesn't matter. You can take a full load if you want to, you can be empty if you want to. Now, once we've popped in, we do get a little alert in the top telling us when the next server reset is. Importantly for this, we are told our team resources. We can see here we're capped out on resources and my personal credit balance. Do note that just like every other plane, you do have to obey the 3-minute takeoff delay timer, and so you've got plenty of time to get things started and sorted. You can absolutely still start getting your helicopter loaded up before the takeoff delay timer ends, and so that's exactly what we're going to do here. So we open up the comms menu, we go to F10 Other, and then what we're looking for is Troop Deployment System. Here we get a whole load of different options. Display cargo info will just tell us if we've got anything on board. Right now I don't. List nearby cargoes if you're wanting to pick up any existing crates that have been put down. Don't need to worry about that right now. What we do want to do is load some new cargo. Importantly, we've got these different categories here. You can see light things, utility and light armour are C1, heavy tanks are C2, and any anti-air system is C3. Now if you're in one of the light helicopters, such as an Mi-24 or Huey that can only carry one crate, these categories really don't matter. But in helicopters such as the Mi-8, the Chinook and the C-130, you can load 2 crates. You can only load 1 from any particular category. So right now, I'm in an Mi-8. I can carry 2 crates. I can't, for example, say load 2 Strelas into this aircraft. So I can't instantly deploy a Strela out there. I can take half of a Strela crate, so I'm going to do that. Gonna grab this SA-13 here. Once I've done that, that automatically gets loaded. This does increase the mass of the aircraft. It does tell me how many credits or resources are required, and it does point out that I can't put this down at FARP Alpha where I've picked it up. And also, because I am flying an MI8, you can see here I've got 1 out of 2 slots. So to demonstrate, let's say, well, I was thinking I want the other half of the Strela. I go load cargo, IR SAM, try and put in the other half. It'll say, nope, it needs to be something else. The idea of all of this is so that you can't instantly deploy things like the IR SAM systems on your own. You're either going to need to make at least 2 trips, or you're going to need to have teamwork and coordination to put them down. That's absolutely fine. So I can put down a tank, a light armor, or a utility vehicle. Now, while considering what things to drop off, these little numbers that they've got are really quite important. The first number lists how many crates need to be deployed. Anything with 1 you can drop off with a single crate and instantly unpack it. This is amazing if you're dealing with things on your own or you don't want to make 2 trips. These single crate items are really useful, and the BMD and BMP1s are actually quite nice. You can see here the BMP2s take 2 crates. The tanks here all take 3 crates, other than the T55, which only takes 2. And certainly some of your really big systems, such as the SA-15 here, can take a bunch of crates. It's going to require 4 crates to get down an SA-15 site. Now, that IR system that I picked up requires 2 crates to be delivered, so I'm going to have to make 2 trips no matter what. So I need to factor that in with what else I'm going to bring. So I could bring something else that's 2 crates, such as a T-55 if I want to give it a little more defense around there against ground targets. Or I can do what I'm going to do here and put down a couple of different things. I can stick down an EWR station, just to give us some better coverage here, and then in my second trip I can put down an ammo truck. So that's what I'm going to do. There we go, both systems are loaded. You can see here everything there is confirmed with what you've got loaded up. As for these other numbers here, these are the costs for deploying the crates. Crates are free to load onto your vehicle, so that hasn't cost me or the team anything. However, when it comes to deploying them, I either need to pay my personal credits, which is the first number listed here, or I need to pay through team resources, which is the second number listed here. You can certainly see that some things are very expensive in terms of their deployment cost. Some things are really quite cheap. Notably, things like the big early warning radar cost 50,000 credits, so they're pretty big to put down. That's 10% of your maximum team resources there, not credits. Or 25 credits, that's quite a lot there. That's fine, those are larger vehicles. Now, in terms of what we need to do, in order to deploy these, I can deploy these anywhere outside of this outer ring of the area I picked it up in. I can put this out in the wilderness somewhere, or equally, I can take it to another airfield that we own, and I can put SAM systems within the ring of a different airfield. So if I want to, say, reinforce Ryak here, I could drop them off in the outer ring, I could drop them off in the inner ring, as long as I didn't pick them up from Ryak. Here, though, looking around, we've got a little bit of a site up here with a couple of KS-19s. I am going to help reinforce that a bit. I'm going to put another little site over here. So takeoff delay timer has very much ended, so the next part is simply taking off and flying to where I want to drop these off. Of course, remembering to turn on the fan. Here I'm outside of the little ring, so I can drop this down anywhere here. I'm going to put my EWR up on this mountain range here, then hide the little SAM system behind it in order to try and catch some of the enemy as they come to take out that EWR system. Plus up here at altitude, people aren't going to be expecting IR SAMs, and so this might catch a couple of people by surprise. Now, I don't technically need to land to drop these crates. You just need to be low enough to the ground for them to survive. So there we go, I dropped it, it drops the first thing first. So first in, first out logic there. there we go. That is one half of the Strela crate deployed over there. Now, I can't actually go about deploying that, so I'm not going to worry about it. To unpack things, we still need to be landed, and so that's fine. I'm going to land a little distance away and set up our big EWR system. And so then, troop deployment system, and I go drop cargo. It plonks it in front of me. One nice thing to note is even if you drop two cargo on top of each other, it won't deploy them on top of each other. It will always offset them, so you can just drop and then drop another one. You don't have to move between, which is really nice. It'll just aim for a point ahead of you, but if it can't fit it there, it'll move it around. Very nice, very intelligent. Now, if I want to unpack these crates, what I do then is go down here and I go to unpack cargo. And then we've got various different options here because the crates can pop up in different settings. So I can unpack the nearest unit, the nearest group. If we put down several crates of different units at once, we can unpack them all together as a singular group, in which case they can be controlled and passed together. The SAM sites have their own little logic, so that is why they have their own message there. Then vehicle repair crates, FOBs, and FOB upgrades are all different. So here I need to unpack this. Doesn't really matter if I unpack unit or group, because there's just one thing here. So I'm just going to unpack the unit. And then we get this option. Do I want to use the team resources or my personal credits? We're capped on team resources right now, so I may as well use the team resources. Boop. There we go. We've got our little dog-ear radar up and running in front of me. So it's great. That's half a SAM system and a dog-ear deployed. Now I just need to go back to my base. Now I can pick up the rest of my little surprise IR system down there. And over there we can see where someone else has been working with this system. There is a big early warning radar that someone set up along with some guns. My little system here is not going to do particularly much, but maybe I'll catch someone trying to sneak up on the big dog-ear system. So then landed back. What I want to do is go and load up some more crates. I'll get the other half of my SA-13. One thing to note for veterans of the server, you don't need to then load the crate in. It just auto-loads into the back, which is really nice. One less use of the menu. Then for my other crate, I'm going to go, again, I can't take a C3, so I'm going to take another C1 out, and this time I'm going to get some ammo crates. There we go, fully loaded. Time to go. Now, if you do forget where you dropped off half a crate, you can always check on the map. You do see friendly units on the map, and the crates are these generators. You can also be a little more sensible and mark down where you've dropped the crate using the map marker system. But I forgot to do that, so I'm just hunting for this generator marker. There we go, I can see my generator crate just on the other side of this ridge, so I'll set it down. And then we can deploy the other crate. And yet, because this is a crate that requires two things, I could attempt to deploy it. So if I go to troop deployment system, I could unpack cargo, unpack nearest unit. With resources, it'll say there aren't enough Strela crates, remind you how many you need, and say how many it found. And here it notes that you need them within 300 meters, which is actually quite a large distance. If you just drop them near each other, you'll manage to get it in that zone. So anyway, here, let's drop down my remaining crates. So drop cargo. There goes the first thing I put in, which is the Strela Part 2. And then drop the other crate down. And there you go, you see, even though I've not moved, it's offset it. So there's my ammo truck. I could, if I'm not happy about the positioning or if I've dropped it just outside the range, I can absolutely go back to the troop deployment system and go pick up cargo. In which case it will pick up the nearest cargo. So there we go, grab the SA-13 back in. Now I did actually want that down, so let's drop it off again. Bonk it down. And then this time what I'm going to do is deploy these as a group. Unpack nearest group. In this case I'm going to use credits, why not? There we go. Brand new group here consisting of an SA-10 and its ammo truck. If I go to the menu here, you can see these two are part of the same group, TDS 99 and then my name. Now in terms of why you would want to go about putting them in a group, well, that does work with the pathing system, which I'll be covering in a tutorial very soon, but it also works with the TACCOM system. So just to demonstrate this now, I am jumping in the TACCOM slot. What I can do is path my units here. Let's say I actually kind of want these to be sitting over here. There we go. Normally I would have to order these separately, but now when I move my SA-13, we can see there that the ammo truck follows it. Now, yeah, that's not a huge thing with my current setup, where I've got two little units here. But if you imagine having a much larger setup where you've steadily dropped a whole load of units together, you can then very easily move and path these around. Now, one thing that is really important on this server that does get missed out a lot is you are not allowed to place these vehicles down in forest lines or right next to buildings. This makes it essentially impossible for air units to actually have a chance against them and just really messes with the game flow. So don't do what this person here has done and stack all of these in a forest line. They will shoot through trees, which is really annoying and a DCS issue, and it just ruins everyone's fun. So keep your units out in the open. Trust me, from a few thousand feet, you won't be able to see much that's on the ground anyway, so you can still absolutely ambush people if you set your things up intelligently. But putting them next to buildings, putting them in tree lines is absolutely a way to get your units deleted and to get you very much in trouble with the devs. Please stop doing this, it ruins everyone else's fun. Now I just wanted to highlight one other thing here, that is this fob and repair crates. I'll be covering the fob system in a different tutorial video in more depth, but this is how we drop them off, is with these. But more importantly, here we have the repair crates. The SAM repair crates is specifically there as the old SAM repair. We used to have a different repair crate for every single SAM site. Now it's just this generic one. Drop this next to a SAM site that you've built and unpack it using the menu that was seen, and it will refresh the entire SAM site, replacing all of the destroyed launchers, set it all back to brand new, just like you could before, but now it's all this one common crate. Vehicle repair crates are a little bit different in that these will respawn the nearest vehicle. The point of these is kind of twofold. One, various units in DCS can sometimes just get bugged, where for some reason they're just not operating, they're not able to move, they're not able to shoot. This resets any weird bugs with that. The other thing that this does is it also rearms them. So, for example, if you've gone and taken out a SA-19 site, like we've just done up there, if instead of putting an ammo truck there, I decided, okay, that's actually run through its ammo really quickly, I don't actually want to put an ammo truck down there, I just want to quickly get it repaired and rearmed, I can drop down the vehicle crate next to it and deploy that. Then immediately that will respawn, start as effectively a brand new thing with full ammo. So that can be useful if you don't want to mess around with the ammo trucks. And in particular, that's a little bit of a quicker way of doing it. The ammo trucks do take time depending on the SAM system. Sometimes they take a very long time to reload. So this way you can kind of quickly and relatively cheaply get a site rearmed. The only other thing we've not looked at in this menu is the TDS commands. Here we've got various options. The first one here is the medium range SAM status. This just lets you know how many medium range SAM sites you have. You can put down a maximum of 10 of these per team. This tells you how many are out there. So here I can see, well, I could go about putting down a lot of medium range SAM sites for our team. Now, absolutely reasonably, you might find that, hey, hang on a second, we're at our cap, but all of the medium-range SAM sites are way away from the front. Well, that's fine. What you can do is land near one of your unused SAM sites and do recycle nearby MR SAM site. That'll remove it, and then you can go and deploy another one near the front. The last thing here is this delete my cargo. And this is just a nice, neat way of replacing cargo without needing to mess with anything. So let's say, for example, I messed up. Let's say I want to deploy a T72 here, but I misclicked and hit T64. Well, I can't drop that crate anymore because I'm still in the zone where I picked it up. And so it'll give me an error and say, oi, no. So I can just clear that out of my inventory by going to TDS Commands and then delete my cargo. Gives me a little confirmation that I need to do. There we go. Boop. Done. Emptied. I can now pick up something new without needing to worry. So that is the TDS system in brief. Now, there are all sorts of tangential things that I have missed out here. The pathing will be getting its own video very soon. How the C130 uses its unique features will be getting its own system soon. And FOBs will also be getting their own video. I'm breaking them up because, well, this is already 20 minutes long and this is only covering one of those. A full guide for everything would be taking over an hour. So I want to chunk it into little sections so people can find what they need. If you do have any questions about anything here, please do post them down below. I will try and get back as soon as possible. And if there are any videos that you really want me to prioritize, by all means ask down below. Popping up at the end here should be my playlist of all of my other contention guides. Some are a little outdated, but most do still apply. So if you're wanting to know anything else about the server, please consider checking one of those out. And if you found this video useful, please do consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe. All really does help promote it in the algorithm. And otherwise, until next time, remember to be kind to yourselves and everyone else. Cheers.